What if one of the most technically perfect bands in rock history was built on a family bond destined to shatter under tragedy? They sold millions of records, swept the Grammy Awards, and crafted songs so flawless, critics accused them of sounding inhuman. Behind the perfection came disaster, a sudden death in a backyard, a degenerative illness that stole a brother one movement at a time, addiction tearing at the edges of their legacy. Decades later, the song they nearly threw away rose from the internet and made them immortal. This is the rise, the fall, and the heartbreaking destiny of Toto, the band cursed by brilliance. Foundations of genius. Los Angeles in 1977 was the center of the modern music universe. Studio doors never closed. Tape machines ran through the night, and the finest musicians in the world circled the same few blocks, searching for the perfect sound. Jeff Porcaro belonged to that world. Born into the home of percussion master Joe Porcaro, Jeff grew up surrounded by rhythm. By the time he was in his teens, he played with a calm authority that rivaled men twice his age. David Paich lived a parallel life. His father, Marty Paich, arranged for legends. David absorbed melody and harmony as naturally as breathing. Music was not a dream, it was the family trade. Jeff and David met in high school. Their bond formed instantly. One handled rhythm like sculpture, the other shaped melody like a living organism. Together, they became the backbone of the Los Angeles A-Team, the elite crew called when a record needed perfection. By the late 1970s, their fingerprints appeared on albums by Boz Scaggs, Elton John, Steely Dan, and Barbra Streisand. In the studio world, they were already giants, though almost no one outside the industry knew their names. While touring with Boz Scaggs, the pair felt something shift. Their natural chemistry extended to two younger prodigies, Steve Porcaro and Steve Lukather. All four communicated in a musical shorthand so effortless it startled even them. To complete the lineup, they recruited bassist David Hungate, a precision player with deep Nashville roots, and vocalist Bobby Kimball, whose voice could cut through any arrangement. With 6 musicians, each a master in his field, the perfect band was suddenly real. They needed a name. The answer was simple, ambiguous, and oddly memorable. Some believed Jeff scribbled the word Toto on early demo tapes to distinguish them from other projects. Others joked it referenced the dog in The Wizard of Oz. Still others said it came from the Latin phrase meaning all-encompassing. Whatever the origin, the symbolism fit. Toto blended rock, pop, jazz, soul, and funk into a single identity. The name suggested completeness, unity, totality. Columbia Records recognized the power of this lineup instantly. Without demanding auditions or test recordings, they offered the band a contract, a rare gesture in an industry ruled by caution. Their debut album arrived in 1978, and Hold the Line dominated airwaves. Georgie Porgy and I Will Supply the Love lifted the band further. Success was instant and overwhelming. But underneath the success, cracks were forming. Critics dismissed the band as too perfect at a time when punk celebrated raw imperfection. Inside the group, Jeff's relentless standards clashed with the emotions of his younger brother Steve. Lukather pushed himself to levels that bordered on obsession. Before we continue, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. The world saw brilliance. Inside the band, pressure was already building, and the warning signs were quietly waiting. The height of the storm. Success arrived like a lightning strike. After their debut, Toto entered a period of relentless creation. But the pressure from Columbia Records intensified as sales dipped. Hydra arrived in late 1979, and Turn Back followed in early 1981. Both records underperformed despite their ambition. The label delivered an unmistakable warning. One more commercial disappointment, and Toto would be finished. The ultimatum shook the band. Their survival depended on a single album that could redefine them. Inside Sunset Sound Studios in mid-1981, the atmosphere felt electric and dangerous. The band worked through long nights, surrounded by warm analog consoles, glowing tape machines, and coffee cups scattered across piano lids. Every note mattered. Every take felt like a lifeline. During this period, David Paich brought in a new idea. A song pulled from documentaries he watched as a child. A melody shaped by imagined landscapes and distant cultures. He titled it Africa, though he had never set foot on the continent. Steve Porcaro questioned the Serengeti line. Steve Lukather laughed at the imagery. Jeff Porcaro simply asked if the rhythmic pulse would land. At one point, someone suggested cutting the song entirely. The idea drifted through the room like unwanted smoke. But they kept going. Slowly, a mosaic of rhythms, harmonies, and synth textures formed. Jeff built the iconic groove using a halftime shuffle blended with sounds borrowed from African drumming. It was intricate, complex, and completely original. Meanwhile, Rosanna emerged from a combination of Paich's melodic writing and Jeff's legendary shuffle. The drum pattern blended elements of Bernard Purdie's technique with Jeff's natural swing. It became a masterclass in groove. Toto Four released in April 1982. Immediately the momentum shifted. Rosanna climbed the charts, reaching the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 in the summer of 1982. The song stayed on the chart for more than 20 weeks. Africa followed months later. It began climbing slowly before reaching number 1 in January 1983. The song held the top position for several weeks and became their global signature. It topped charts in multiple countries, including the United States and Canada. I Will Not Hold You Back also made an impact, rising into the top 10 in early 1983. In total, Toto Four produced 3 top 10 hits and became one of the defining albums of the early 1980s. At the Grammy Awards in early 1983, Toto became the most awarded band of the night. They won Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Instrumental Arrangement, Best Vocal Arrangement, and several additional honors. 6 victories in total. But here is what most people did not understand. The band receiving trophies and applause was simultaneously becoming a target. Critics called them artificial. They accused Toto of being overly polished. Rolling Stone dismissed their work as cold. The Los Angeles Times criticized them for lacking depth. Inside the band, the pressure worsened. Jeff expected perfection from everyone. David Paich felt the weight of delivering hit after hit. Steve Porcaro battled insecurity, feeling overshadowed by his brothers. Lukather tried to hold everything together, but began to feel the emotional strain. Touring schedules intensified. Throughout 1982 and 1983, Toto performed across North America, Europe, and Japan. Some tours stretched close to 200 days. Sleep was rare. Tension was constant. The pressure for flawless performances increased daily. Bobby Kimball struggled the most. Late nights and substance use damaged his vocal range. His reliability faltered. Legal issues added more stress. The band faced a painful decision. In 1984, Bobby was removed from Toto. They believed the change would preserve the band, but it fractured their unity. New vocalists arrived. Fergie Frederiksen stepped in and recorded the Isolation album in late 1984. Though talented, he struggled with a demanding studio precision. Then Joseph Williams arrived, recording Fahrenheit in 1986, and the seventh one in early 1988. The chart success continued. I Will Be Over You reached the top 40. Pamela charted in 1988 and helped revive momentum. But the identity of Toto shifted with every change in lineup. Behind the shimmering success lay a truth the world could not see. The band was carrying a weight that could not be measured by awards or chart positions. They did not yet know how heavy that weight would become. They had no idea the ground was collapsing beneath them. The breaking point. The collapse began quietly, not with a headline or a dramatic fight, but with small signs the band did not recognize at first. A missed note, a tremor in the hand, a sudden exhaustion. The breaking point approached slowly and silently. The catalyst arrived in the summer of 1992. On August 5th, Jeff Porcaro spent the afternoon tending to plants in his backyard. The sun was bright, the air was warm. He sprayed pesticide along a garden wall before stepping inside feeling lightheaded. Minutes later, he collapsed. Paramedics rushed him to a nearby hospital. Jeff Porcaro died that evening. He was only 38 years old. The music world stopped. Fellow musicians called him one of the greatest drummers of his generation. Fans mourned the loss of a man whose touch defined an era. Inside Toto, disbelief turned to devastation. Initial reports suggested an allergic reaction to a chemical in the pesticide, but the official medical report complicated everything. The coroner found no trace of pesticide in Jeff's bloodstream. Instead, they detected microscopic traces of cocaine and attributed his death to heart failure caused by long-term substance use. The band rejected the explanation immediately. Steve Lukather spoke openly. He insisted the amount of cocaine found was so tiny that it could not have caused heart failure. Jeff had a known heart condition. Chemicals on his skin might have entered through pores while he worked outdoors. The truth remained unclear, but the loss was absolute, and the irony was devastating. Jeff, the man whose drumming embodied precision and control, had been taken in a moment of complete vulnerability. In the weeks that followed, the band faced an impossible decision. Should Toto end? David Paich felt the band could not exist without Jeff. Lukather agreed at first, but the Porcaro family urged them to continue. Jeff would have wanted the music to live. Toto moved forward, but the heart of the group was gone. Simon Phillips, a respected drummer known for work with Pete Townsend and Jeff Beck, stepped into the role in late 1992. Even he admitted replacing Jeff felt impossible. Steve Lukather stepped reluctantly into the position of lead singer. He said later that he never wanted the role, but someone had to hold the center. He accepted the responsibility out of loyalty, not desire. While the band tried to rebuild, tragedy continued its slow march. Mike Porcaro, the quiet and steady brother who joined Toto in 1982, began losing strength in his hands during the late 1990s. By 1997, playing bass became painful. Doctors confirmed the diagnosis soon after: amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a disease that stripped away control of the body one muscle at a time. There was no cure, no treatment, only time. Mike stepped away from touring in 2007. His decline continued for years. Throughout the 2010s, he relied on family for daily care. The disease that stole his movement also stole his voice and independence. Steve Porcaro faced his own crisis. During medical exams in the 2010s, doctors discovered a tumor near his brain. Although the tumor was benign, the surgery that removed it left him deaf in one ear. For a musician who built soundscapes, the loss was profound. The internal stability of the band deteriorated alongside these personal tragedies. Lukather's emotional and physical exhaustion deepened. The pressure of carrying the band, combined with grief and touring stress, led him into heavy drinking. By 2008, Lukather walked away. He ended Toto's operations, stating simply that he could not continue. He later admitted he was drinking himself toward darkness. His marriage fell apart. His health suffered. The band he tried to save had crushed him. But the worst moment still hovered just beyond the horizon. In 2014, former vocalist Fergie Fredriksson lost his battle with cancer. And on March 15, 2015, after years of suffering, Mike Porcaro passed away. Two brothers gone, one forever altered, and the dream they built together scattered in pieces. The damage was irreversible, and the long shadow of loss covered everything they created. The long shadow. With the deaths of Jeff and Mike Porcaro and the declining health of David Paich and Steve Porcaro, Toto entered a new era. It was no longer the band of 6 brilliant young musicians chasing perfection. It became a story of survival. After stepping away in 2008, Steve Lukather rebuilt himself. He entered recovery. He found sobriety. He focused on family, friendships, and music created without pressure. During this period, something unexpected happened. Africa, the song once questioned and nearly cut, began resurfacing. Online communities rediscovered it. In 2010, playlists on streaming platforms elevated the song again. Its unusual harmonies, dreamlike imagery, and nostalgic warmth captivated a new generation. By 2013, Africa became one of the most streamed songs from the 1980s. High school students used it in memes. Choirs arranged elaborate versions. Bar bands played it with reverence. A song born in 1981 felt entirely new again. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. A teenage fan created an online campaign urging the band Weezer to record a version of Africa. Fans posted daily messages. They filled social media with demands. After months of silence, Weezer finally released the cover in 2018. The cover soared. It entered charts worldwide. It became Weezer's strongest digital single in years. The band embraced the moment, even performing it on late-night shows. For Toto, it felt surreal to witness a modern wave of enthusiasm for a song written decades earlier. In return, Toto recorded their own version of Hash Pipe by Weezer. It was playful, respectful, and filled with humor. The exchange showed that music across generations could meet with admiration rather than rivalry. Meanwhile, touring continued. Lukather fronted new lineups of Toto. Joseph Williams returned as vocalist. Other respected musicians filled roles once held by legends. Fans across Europe, Asia, and the United States attended shows filled with energy and gratitude. David Paich performed selectively as health allowed. Steve Porcaro appeared occasionally, contributing when possible, but stepping back from the physical demands of touring. The Porcaro family remained central in spirit, even as the years left only memories and recordings. The legacy became more than albums and awards. Jeff Porcaro's drum grooves were studied in classrooms worldwide. His halftime shuffle became a benchmark for drummers. Mike Porcaro's bass lines influenced generations who prized feel over flash. Steve Porcaro's synthesizer work shaped the sound of science fiction television and modern pop. The resurgence of Africa, combined with decades of loyal fans, pulled Toto into a new era of recognition. Their music became the soundtrack of weddings, films, commercials, online mashups, and global nostalgia. The shadow of loss never faded, but the music did not fade either. It endured with stunning resilience. For fans who lived through the early albums, Toto represented a golden age of musicianship. For younger listeners, Toto became a timeless discovery. For the surviving members, Toto became a symbol of family, tragedy, and perseverance. In the end, their story proves that brilliance carries weight, that perfection can be both a blessing and a burden, and that sometimes the music outlives everything else. What is your memory of Toto? Share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like and subscribe for more stories from rock's golden era.